Hey guys, welcome to the Filmora music video series. My name's Jony, and today we're going to be taking a look at how to add some extra polish to your music videos. Last week we went into how we assembled the first draft for the music video for 3LAU's song Tokyo. At this point in post-production, you might start getting feedback from the client, producer, or director. Assuming you take all of their feedback into consideration, here are a few tips on how you can really polish up your edit. Before we do anything though, I'm going to go to our project file, duplicate it, and rename it with a new edit number. You should do this every time you start editing after getting feedback. That way, if you absolutely need to go back to a previous edit, you can still access it. If you're editing your video to a song with a strong beat, I recommend that you put your cuts on these beats. Now, you don't need to put a cut on every single beat. This might make the cuts happen too fast for the viewer to keep track of what's going on. But cutting about every 2 or 4 beats can really help the video flow with the song. Here's a scene that I've roughly put together. From a story standpoint, I think it flows pretty well, though it doesn't really line up with the beat. I'm going to closely listen to the music and look at the waveform and line these cuts up to the beat. Cutting on the 1 and 3 beats are often the best. Cutting on the 2 or 4 beats can work better than not cutting on beat at all. It'll go a long way to making your videos feel like it was edited more professionally. Now let's take a look at how it cuts. Cutting to the beat can sometimes make cuts feel less jarring, but sometimes that isn't enough. There are a few more techniques that you can use to make your edits flow really nicely. When ordering your clips, try to make it so that the talent is occupying the same or a close enough spot to the talent in the previous shot whenever possible. This makes it so that the viewer's eyes don't need to dart around the frame to find the point of interest. Another trick used in a lot of music videos is using film burns or light leaks to add a level of smoothness between cuts. I don't recommend using it all the time since it can get a little gimmicky, but I really liked using it as a transition near the end of the main character's first memories in the Tokyo music video. So I've got this shot of our lead character's first memory over here, where our camera tilts up to the street light, and we cut to our lead in the bus looking out the window as the light from the memory leaves her face. It feels like this plays out relatively well, though this cut from the streetlight to the actress feels a little too jarring for something as dreamy as a memory. Instead, I decided that a light leak would mask this cut better. FilmoraPro has some light leak effects, but I decided to use a stock light leak overlay that I already owned for this one. I'm going to drop it above the cut between these two shots, and then set our blend mode to screen. Next, I'm going to right-click on the clip, go to Transform, and select Fit to Width. This will let our light leak fill the whole frame. I'm going to fine-tune where I place it so that when the light leak dims, it flows well with the light on our lead's face dimming as well. I can fine-tune this even more after we tackle color grading. Our DP Alfonso did an amazing job framing our shots, but sometimes at certain points you might want to crop in on your shots a little bit more or add a bit more of a zoom effect to it. So a little later in my edit, I've got my character looking back at her first memory as she's moving away from it. We had this really great dolly shot pulling away from the two friends, but due to the pace that we're editing at with this music video, we can't get the full motion in the cut. So instead, I'm going to help it out by adding a little digital zoom. With our clip selected, let's go to the controls panel and click this icon up here to display the timeline. Next, with our playhead at the very end of the clip, let's set a position and scale keyframe by clicking these circles. Next, let's take the playhead to the beginning of the clip, and then we're going to increase our scale and reframe for the actresses. Now we'll get a more dramatic pull-out shot. And you can even use this on static shots if you want. Sometimes the energy of the music video called for a little more camera movement, so I decided in this next shot to put a light digital zoom into it like this. So that's a look at how to add some polish to your music video edits. Of course, at the end of the day, it's also super important to take your director or client's input into consideration when you make these changes. Stay tuned for next week's video when we go into color correction and color grading. And remember, there's no limit to what you can make.